Welcome back to Crypto Meets AI. Jerry here with an update for you. Do me a favor, friends. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below. Now let's get into this. We didn't hold that $3 mark like I said might happen. We dropped all the way down to the low 290s. We better hold this 290 mark, otherwise a lot of people are going to get liquidated. A lot. We'll see where it goes from here, but let's hope it doesn't go down. And here's something for you to really think about. I never heard Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Monica Long, Chris Larson, anyone else at Ripple tell us to buy XRP. It's funny how Michael Saylor spends the majority of his time telling everyone they should buy Bitcoin. If you have to tell people to buy something, then it's got issues. In August 2025, Central Bank of Nigeria orders full ISO 222 migration across all systems by October of 2025. These countries are getting ready for the full implementation of ISO 222 within the SWIFT messaging system on November 22nd, 2025. If they're not ready and they're not on board, they're going to have some issues, going to have problems. Their transaction will either get rejected altogether or they'll be paying a huge fee in order to translate the old messaging into the new ISO 222 messaging standards. Ripple is secretly chosen as the backbone of the new financial system. They said Ripple was just payments, but the real plan was always bigger. Fed master account, BRICS, IMF, ECB pilots, the hidden playbook is finally visible. This is the reset switch. Start with RLUSD, a regulated bank-grade stablecoin engineered for institutional settlement. Enter the Genius Act. Imagine a law designed to give institutional stablecoins legal clarity, custody standards, and bank-grade compliance. That's the legal green light for RLUSD to go from niche to backbone infrastructure. National Bank Charter and Fed Master Account. When Ripple secures a charter, it can access core U.S. payment plumbing. Fed Master Account, that's access to liquidity windows and settlement privilege inside the system. That's not outside disruption, that's inside insertion. IMF and SDR 2.0. The IMF wants a modern reserve mechanism. SDR 2.0 is the idea. XRPL plus RLUSD is the plumbing. SDR allocations or cross-border liquidity windows are tested on XRPL. The IMF doesn't need to create a new currency. It uses the rails already live, and that's game over, my friends. The European Central Bank. ECB is already testing payment systems for faster remittances and also linkages between payment systems like Ripple. When EU clears on XRP rails, US-aligned RLUSD looks like the natural settlement currency. She openly names Ripple. Institutions can't deploy trillions without guardrails. That's why Ripple built XLS 70, verifiable credentials, and XLS 80, permission domains, to give banks credentialed access to tokenized markets. Brad also hinted at building on DIDs. DNA on chain extends this identity layer. Ripple the lawsuit was all just theater. Gary Gensler lectured at MIT on digital ID in 2018. JP Morgan and WEF published docs on digital identity on blockchain. All while new credential systems were being tested. The same tech, DNA on chain, is now scaling. This wasn't delay, it was synchronization. Ripple with DBS Bank plus Franklin Templeton just launched tokenized repo collateral on the XRP ledger. That means a $5 trillion daily turnover U.S. repo market is about to move on-chain on XRPL. If Ripple even captures 1% of the 15 trillion global repo markets, that's 150 billion in daily flows. Now imagine those flows require XRP for fees, liquidity bridging, the math writes itself. Ripple and BRICS. Official documents plus pilots show BRICS testing neutral settlement rails, and the XRP ledger keeps surfacing. They don't need to love Ripple, they need rails outside of SWIFT, and Ripple is already sitting in the middle. Supply-demand lever. Institutional rails need a scarce utility, not just any token. If XRPL's mechanics route settlement or bridge liquidity through XRP at scale for short windows, holders sitting on XRP when onboarding goes viral are effectively where the fees and flow concentrate. Math, tiny usage rates, multi-million base equals outsized structural demand. The final act, nascent pilots, regulatory clarity, charter plus Fed access, broad institutional pilots, repos, money market funds, tokenized bonds, IMF and ECB signaling, silent rollout. By the time headlines normalize it, the reset is routine. Comment down below and tell me what you guys think. And also, if you found this information valuable, helpful, or hell, even entertaining, or if you even think I'm full of shit, share, like, subscribe, and comment down below. One of the catalysts for the rise in price of XRP is the Clarity Act. Once signed by Trump, institutions will be able to use XRP and any other crypto for settlements. That's why we must pay attention to the Clarity Act. Europeans' enterprise DLT push has entered a new phase. Ever since MiCA dropped, the fog around what was allowed and what was coming has started to lift. No more asking when regulations, they're here, and they're already shaping which chains are getting picked. For years, firms were scrambling for clarity, but now that MiCA and MiFID are fully operational, institutions finally have a green light. Framework to enter the DLT and digital asset space. And the same names keep popping up. Quant, working with the ECB on the digital euro. XLM as a MiCA-approved DLT for stablecoins. XRP, VASP approved for the Bank of Ireland. And HBAR used by 6 groups, BME, IBClear. It's no surprise to see these names, which dominate fintech and standardization and DLT trending here. We're not talking proof of concepts anymore. These are live, regulated deployments with real-world financial giants. Now let's zoom in on stablecoins. On that list, Sogen Forge, Stellar, EURCV, Quantos, EURD, eMoney for Algorand, Decta, EURT, eMoney on Stellar. These 2 DLTs being selected for stablecoin infrastructure is no coincidence. Stellar and Algorand have already proven to handle real-world payments at scale. But that's not all. Europe is doubling down on digital ID infrastructure with the help of DLT. This is where CheckQ and IOTA step in. They aren't focused on tokenizing real-world value here. They're focused on data reputation, trust registries, and verified ID. IOTA has been working with the DLT-based digital ID since 2020, surpassed an EU blockchain sandbox and etc. CheckD is building a ledger-agnostic trust registries for European blockchain services infrastructure. Regulation didn't kill innovation in the EU, it accelerated it. Stablecoin rails being built, banks getting licensed to issue them, national banks experimenting with DLT settlement, public-private sandbox tests being launched, trust registries and identity standards going live. This is what true institutional adoption looks like. And I gotta say it, my friends, once again, the institutions are here. And I said it a million times. From what we went over and from what we know now, the XRP escrow is accounted for. The exchanges are running out. What you see is what you get. Distribution of XRP. Ripple is not free to sell off the escrow. Escrow, a function in which XRP tokens provided on XRP Ledger are locked and their use or destruction is prohibited until certain conditions are met. Based on information available from XRP Ledger as of July 20th, 2025, nearly 40% of the total supply of XRP is in escrow, and Ripple is not free to sell them off. Comment down below and tell me, are you aware of this? XRP is not just about payments. Ripple is shaping regulation in the UK. They're pushing for NFT laws that focus on use case, not tech. Luxury property, carbon credits, membership, real-world assets on XRP Ledger. Adoption is written in regulation. Ripple's case for NFTs and blockchain regulation in the UK. Ripple has formally submitted evidence to the UK Parliament Digital Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee on the role of NFTs and blockchain. This marks an important step where governments and innovators collaborate to shape fair, innovation-friendly regulations that unlock blockchain's potential while protecting consumers. The EU ministers reached an agreement on Friday on a digital euro roadmap, including the tokens holding mint. The digital euro aims to become an alternative to the US-based Visa and MasterCard systems with an electronic wallet. EURC, USDC, RLUSD, and USDT. What you have to understand is these countries want a level playing field finally. Most countries have been working with their back against the wall. They want a level playing field now. And that's what they're getting with crypto and blockchain technology. A level playing field. The infinite money glitch now officially has been revealed with minus RWA, MXRP that becomes a perpetual buyer of XRP. I look forward to bringing my recorded interview public, the CEO of Midas and Axelar this week. Also announced in Seoul today, Ripple is pursuing the establishment of a hub to advance into Asia Pacific, the APAC market. This initiative aims to establish Korea as a key base for expanding the ecosystem of Ripple's blockchain network, the XRP Ledger. Well, that's what I have for you folks. Until next time, stay savvy, stay stacking, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below. And if you want more crypto deep dives, check out our videos right here on Crypto Meets AI. Thank you for watching. Remember to always do your own research. This is not financial advice.